I'm really excited to be doing this. Hello, my name is Olivia, and I'm here to talk about books! Yeah, okay. Hi. I just wanted to talk a little bit about my favorite books today. This is definitely going to be a two-part video because I realize I have a lot of favorite books. I realize I do rate the majority of the books I read above, I'm 5 stars. It's usually 5 stars because I really like the books that I read. And if I don't like a book, I will not finish it. I will DNF it immediately. Even not immediately. I read a book last year where I got like 300 pages in out of like 450, and I was like, no, I can't do it. Anyways, that's not what we're talking about. I am honestly kind of nervous and hesitant to talk about any of these because I could forever and ever talk about them. So I just condense my feelings for these favorite books of my life. They changed my brain, they changed my heart, they changed how I look at the world. Maybe not forever, maybe just in that moment, maybe in the few days afterwards, but still they left an impression on me that is hard to condense in a 20-minute YouTube video. But we're gonna try. This first part is going to be books that focused a little bit more on books that broke my heart into a million bajillion pieces. And the second part will be more focused on the intellectual books that changed my mind forever and ever. Beautiful. All right, guys. The first book that we're gonna talk about, we're just gonna start off with a bang, shall we? It's Sunburn by Chloe Michelle Howarth. Okay. This one is really hard for me to talk about because genuinely, where do I begin? I'm going to give a little synopsis for all of these books, but this is a shelf talker that I wrote for a job interview at a bookstore that I'm very proud of. So this is the only synopsis that I wrote. Set in rural Ireland in the 90s, this book follows Lucy as she falls for her best friend Susanna and what becomes of their relationship throughout their teenage and young adult years. Sunburn challenges what it means to be a good daughter, a good practicing Catholic, and a good friend in a highly conservative small town, and how sticking to your true desires could be the best decision a person can make for themselves and the people they love. This book has that lush, sensual, laying in the front yard with ice cream sticking to your hand summer feeling that makes you want to bottle it and keep it close to your heart forever. Honestly, what more can I say? Like, that is my review. The book itself is one of those books that is so sensual and lush and so beautifully written. It's almost poetic, and it is poetic and lyrical. At the heart of it, it is still just a really beautiful story. It really is. And it's also simple in its story. There's not very many characters. We don't travel very far. It focuses really on Susanna and Lucy Martin, Lucy's mother. But other than that, it really just sticks to Lucy's internal struggles, which I love a book where nothing happens. I love a book where nothing happens. This book is one of my favorites because of this specific memory I have taking the train to my parents' house last May. It was very sunny on the train. I was in the top car and the sun was shining through the window, and the version I was reading is the original edition that's very orange and summer feeling. It was just so peaceful. It was such a beautiful memory that I had. This book actually broke my heart, shattered it. Lucy's character really hit me hard, and I was pissed at her most of the time. But I realized afterwards it's because I am me, she is her. And we are the same. Wait. I am her, she is me. She's very indecisive. She is so scared of making a decision, so paralyzed by fear, that she ends up kind of just making the safe decision, but no decision at all, which ends up deeply hurting the people that she claims to love. Yikes. I was forced to confront myself, the parts of myself that I am not very proud of, reading this book. And honestly, that's one of the reasons why it's my favorite. I would say this is my favorite book. I'm going to say that about every single book, though, in this series. The writing is also astounding, like I said earlier. It's one of the most beautiful novels I genuinely have ever read. This book has this almost Shakespearean tragedy feel to it. Even though it is drenched in the mundanity of small town Catholic life, there is this underlying tragic inevitability that feels weighty, timeless, and world-shattering. My favorite quotes from here: "To be with her is a sin. To be without her is a tragedy. This summer is breaking my heart into pieces to reveal a new and better heart that beats only for her." Like, wow. Wow. Okay, my next book. Something a bit more titillating. Titillating, I should say. It is Tipping the Velvet by Sarah Waters, of course. Nan King, an oyster girl, is captivated by the music hall phenomenon Kitty Butler, a male impersonator extraordinaire treading the boards in Canterbury. Through a friend at the box office, Nan manages to visit all her shows and finally meet her heroine. Soon after, she becomes Kitty's dresser, and the two head for the bright lights of Soon after, she becomes Kitty's dresser, and the two head for the bright lights of Leicester Square, where they begin a glittering career as music hall stars in an all-singing and dancing double act. At the same time, behind closed doors, they admit their attraction to each other, and their affair begins. This book is so good. This book is so good. Okay, so if Sunburn is our, like, tragic lesbians, then but Tipping the Velvet is, like, our sad, but star-struck, star-studded performance lesbians. This one's really fun. This is just a fun time. And my roommate last year kept telling me over and over that I would love this book so much, and then I did. So thank you, Noah. Thank you. And I'm talking about it now. It's on one of my favorite books of all time. We have lesbians, we have gender non-conforming, it's the 1800s, it's burlesque, multiple year span. I definitely want to read Sarah Waters' books, all of her books. This was just such great writing, so fun. This is a book that everything in the plot felt necessary and really wrapped up well. But I was also still upset when it was over. I wanted to read more. I wanted to just stay in the lives of these characters forever. I just wanted to drink tea with them and hear all of their gossip. This book is very gossipy. I think there definitely is a lot more deep elements to discuss in this book, definitely, especially with the cross-dressing, the gender nonconformity. Like, that is so interesting. Yes, love it. Also, this book is just a fun romp. It's really fun. Nan is often very distressed, but at the end of the day, like, it's just a fun book, entertaining. I kept reading it in a Cockney accent, so it's like, Nan King, the oyster girl. That was Australian, actually. I've never accomplished an Australian accent before. Wow, okay, we're gonna think about that later. She scissored the curls away, and Toms grow easily sentimental over their haircuts. But I remember this sensation very vividly. It was not like she was cutting hair. It was as if I had placed a pair of wings beneath my shoulder blades, that the flesh had all grown over, and she was slicing free. Next. The Favorites by Layne, Fargo. Oh my god! Oh my god! Okay, maybe I can't keep saying these are all my favorites because they are, though. This book rocked my world. Also, Layne Fargo is from Chicago, where I'm coming at you today. Hell yeah. I was so proud when I read that she lives in Rogers Park. Like, that, I was so like, yes. And then I was like, should I go ask her to coffee? I could. I really could. Again, like, this book is another book that I don't even know where to begin. I do know where to begin. I read this book before I read Wuthering Heights this year. That's an important thing to note. And I randomly picked up this book from Book of the Month. I often go on their website and see which books they picked, because they're usually really good. The back of this book says it's a cross between Wuthering Heights, Daisy Jones and the Six, and it's correct. That is correct. It has everything you ever need. If you love those two books, this book is going to change your life. She might not have a famous name, funding, or her family support, but Katerina Shaw has always known that she was destined to become an Olympic skater. When she meets Heath Racha, a lonely kid stuck in the foster care system, their instant connection makes them a formidable duo on the ice. Clinging to skating and each other to escape their turbulent lives, Kat and Heath go from childhood sweethearts to champion ice dancers, captivating the world with their scorching chemistry, rebellious style, and roller coaster relationship. This one's so gossipy. It literally is gossip. It's so good. It is told throughout a documentary that they're making about their relationship, which is so cool. And then it's also a few chapters throughout are told just from Kat's perspective as it's happening. And I don't think we ever get Heath's. I don't remember, but God. And this is a book that I honestly read as a palate cleanser. I was like, okay, I'll just read this like stupid ice skating book. Girl, I was humbled by that. Stupid ice skating book. No, this book will rock your world. I am so glad that this is also becoming more popular now because it is truly obsessifying. Not to quote Glinda, but obsessifying. I could not put this book down. I was devastated when it ended. And not because it was a devastating end, I just that it was ending at all. I love the gossipy journalist documentary style. If you love Taylor Jenkins Reid's, you will eat this book. I also love, having now read Wuthering Heights, I love that this book captures the gossipy style of Wuthering Heights as well. And it, honestly, looking back on it, it kind of makes fun of Wuthering Heights. Not really on purpose, but like from my perspective, and I love Wuthering Heights. Wuthering Heights is literally on my favorites list. Like, we're going to talk about it later. But sometimes Wuthering Heights is like so serious and so melodramatic that then reading this is like, they really are the same. Wuthering Heights is just a gossipy ass book just like this one. This book also spans over many, many years, which any book that spans decades, favorite. Pachinko, like, love books like that. Love an era's book. One of the unique elements of this book that really gagged and shocked me the whole time was that so many plot points and characters' choices were totally unseen. These characters were crazy. All of them, actually, not just Kat and Heath. They would make choices that I'd be like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You just ruined this person's life. You just ruined your life. And I was always so afraid. This happened multiple times consistently throughout the book, where these characters would make choices and I'd be like, I'm going to hate this book if it ends up the way I'm thinking it will. But then the book always got back on track. And I shouldn't say back on track, but it always ended up making the characters' crazy ass choices make sense. And I really loved that. It kept you on your toes. Literally every time I picked it up to read, I couldn't get enough. A few final thoughts. I think Emily Bronte would love this book. I think she would love this book. If you are avoiding the Wuthering Heights movie, this is a great alternative because you get that Wuthering Heights feel. You get the story basically. You get modern and juicy. You get the sexy fix that the movie was trying to do. We used to joke that they were going to die in each other's arms or kill each other with their bare hands. Nothing in between. Yeah. All right, another great segue into The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Yes. Okay, what can I say about this book that has not already been said? Am I right? Aging and reclusive Hollywood movie icon Evelyn Hugo is finally ready to tell the truth about her glamorous and scandalous life. But when she chooses unknown magazine reporter Monique Grant for the job, no one is more astounded than Monique herself. Why her? Why now? Monique is not exactly on top of the world. Her husband has left her, and her professional life is going nowhere. Regardless of why Evelyn has selected her to write her biography, Monique is determined to use this opportunity to jumpstart her career. Evelyn unspoils the tale of ruthless ambition, unexpected friendship, and a great forbidden love. Monique begins to feel a very real connection to the legendary star, but as Evelyn's story nears its conclusion, it becomes clear that her life intersects with Monique's own in a tragic and irreversible ways. Beautiful story. This book is really interesting because I feel like it has a short story feel to it, but it still obviously has the through line of all of Evelyn's marriages. Each section is broken up by one of her 7 husbands, and I love that you can dive into each of these worlds with a kind of new perspective on Evelyn. You get to know her throughout her life as she decides to marry new and different people. I think it really highlights what women at the time, in the 30s to the 60s had to go through when it came to marriage. Like, Evelyn you learn pretty early on that she married to stay safe, to have a community, to be rich and famous. Diva. And even though she's had 7 husbands, she's a pretty lonely person, which is really sad. This book also, though, what really surprised me and delighted me the most in this book, and my favorite part of the book, is the found family in this book. The family that Evelyn makes for herself, absolutely stunning, humbling, and real. I love that Evelyn is not a lovable character, and she never tries to be loved. She actually is like, no, like, if someone loves me, if the world loves me, I'm doing something wrong. I'm not being myself. She says this quote, "The world respects people who think they should be running it." And I need that tattooed on my forehead. What a good lesson. And it's true. It's true. I'll be honest, I'm an actor, and I work in theater, and I really don't like reading books about theater and acting because it's like too close to home. Like, I'm already living it. But I really loved the like old Hollywood gossipy drama of this book. It was really interesting. And I realize I don't necessarily love reading books in theater, but I love reading books that take place in old Hollywood specifically, which is cool to find out. So many good quotes. People think that intimacy is about sex, but intimacy is about truth. Chills for that one. Chills. My next book is a bit more of a somber book. It's Phantom by Susan Kay. You know, I just said I didn't like reading books about theater, but here we are talking about Phantom of the Opera. But also like fan fiction Phantom of the Opera, which is actually better than the original Phantom of the Opera from the 1800s. IMO. This incredible portrait of Eric, the Phantom, recreates his entire life, from his survival as a child in a carnival freak show to his creative genius behind the Paris Opera House and its labyrinth world below to his discovery of love. Guys, this book is depressing. I have this memory of being devastated about how Eric was treated as a child. Again, on the train, going home to visit my parents, and like trying not to weep because I was upset reading Eric's childhood. And honestly, I think this, like, if you're gonna read Phantom of the Opera or see the musical, or both, you should do both, this book is required reading because, you know, I think at times it was hard for me to follow. The plot does get pretty complex, and I think that's like reader error. I would kind of get distracted and like not be following along fully. But the portrait of Eric's childhood literally explains every decision this man makes. Genuinely, I have so much empathy for him after reading that. This is really a truly well-rounded story of Eric's life. It's so interesting. The detail, the writing, the perspective. I was afraid it was going to be cheesy, but the writing is really high quality. It's very detailed, it's intimate, it's lonely, and it really helped me understand and enjoy every single version of Phantom 1000% more. Something that I really actually loved was that, and surprised me, was that Christine is not a huge part of the story, at least from what I remember. I read this a couple of years ago, but I don't really remember Christine being in it until the very, very end, and even then, she's not like a present character. She's like obviously Eric is obsessed with her, but he like talks about her. There's not many scenes that they're together. And even when they are, I remember Christine being kind of like vapid, no thought in brain. And I think that just has to do with Eric's perspective. He's so in love with her and so obsessed with her that he doesn't see her as a person. Susan Kay created a best friend for Eric. And honestly, their relationship was more interesting than Christine and Eric's. Their friendship was almost romantic, and his best friend was there for him and was literally the only person, I think, aside from Christine eventually, but the only person who saw Eric as a person and was constantly like, dude, what are you doing? Like, I know you've had a hard life, but I'm here for you. Like, let's leave. Like, you can leave your horrible life behind and come with me. And Eric says, no, I'm good. I'm going to keep being a menace to the world. Mind has touched the farthest horizons of mortal imagination and reaches ever outward to embrace infinity. There is no knowledge beyond my comprehension, no art or skill upon this entire planet that lies beyond my mastery of my hand. And yet, like Faust, I look in vain, I learn in vain, For as long as I live, no woman will ever look on me in love. Yeah. This book also has a crazy sense of humor. And it's really very difficult to kill someone when all of your inner instincts would oblige you to take off your hat first. Like, Eric is funny. I did laugh at this book many times. Moving on. Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I know it's the hot topic right now, Wuthering Heights. It's so good. I did read this book because the movie came out. I did not see the movie because I read the book. Period. Before I talk about this, jokes aside, I'm not going to talk about the movie because we're talking about the book here. If you want a really beautiful rhetorical analysis of the nonsense the movie provided us, please check out This Story Ain't Over here on YouTube. Her analyses are incredible and intelligently scathing. Love it. Love it. The new tenant of Thrushcross Grange, situated on the bleak Yorkshire moors, is forced to seek shelter one night at Wuthering Heights, the home of his landlord. He discovers the history of events that took place the years before, of the intense relationship between the foundling Heathcliff and Catherine Earnshaw, and how Catherine, forced to choose between passionate, tortured Heathcliff and gentle, well-bred Edgar Linton, surrendered to the expectations of her class. And Heathcliff's bitterness and vengeance at his betrayal is visited upon by the next generation, their innocent heirs must struggle to escape the legacy of the past. Still prejudice, the generational trauma, this book presents these topics in such a perfectly detailed and inevitable way. This book was written in the 1800s and it's so poignant still today. This book made me sob. It made me sob at 6 a.m. before work. I couldn't stop thinking about it for days, and obviously I'm still not really over it. I don't know if this book is for everyone. It's very convoluted. All the characters make horrible decisions. They're horrible people, and a lot of that is because of incest. That's all I'll say about that. My roommate read it and he was like, I don't understand it. And then I read it and I was like, he dug into her grave to be with her forever and ever. Yeah. I think if you're a hopeless romantic and you love gothic literature, this one's for you. You probably already have read it and it's your favorite, isn't it? Yeah. I know it's my favorite too. This book is not about a healthy relationship. Is an understatement. At the same time, as someone who has also had an obsessive, unhealthy love in my life, I feel vindicated by this book, which is maybe not great. Honestly, I love that this book explores what it is to be an unhealthy relationship, what it is to be obsessed with another person so much that you can't distinguish the differences between you. There's something like in real life, that's not great. That's really bad, actually. But when it's used in literature like this, like, I just think it's so beautiful and so touching. And a lot of the romance quotes that people do quote from this book, when you look at it in its context, it's unhealthy. It's not good. But then it really is just extremely beautiful writing and truly, truly, truly ahead of its time. We are blessed to have this book. We are also blessed to have this book written by a woman, a very sheltered woman in the 1800s. I'm really astounded by Emily Bronte and by the Brontes in general. Like, I really love learning about their lives because they were so interesting. And the fact that all three of them were incredible novelists, like, I need to know what that dynamic was in their household. Here it is. I'm going to give it to y'all. I'm going to say it. He's more myself than I am. Whatever our souls are made of, his and mine are the same. That may not be the healthiest in context, but damn, is that line not beautiful. All right, we're on to our last book, guys. Speaking of beauty, Find Me by Andre Aciman. Put her in a coffin. What can I say about this book? Wow. I really did love the Call Me By Your Name book as well, but I love Find Me. Honestly, I did read Find Me because I was like, okay, I need something to, I read this a few years ago, but I was like, okay, I need something to read. I'm kind of like in a lull right now, so I'll just like read this like random sequel that Mr. Aciman wrote randomly. No, this book is so vital, so important. In Find Me, Aciman shows us Elio's father, Samuel, Cutie Pie Sam, on a trip from Florence to Rome to visit Elio, who has become a gifted classical pianist. A chance encounter on a train with a beautiful young woman upends Sammy's plans and changes his life forever. You know what? That's all I'm going to read from the synopsis. This book follows, it's 3 parts. It follows Samuel when he meets Miranda, which also, if you're making a movie of this, would love to be Miranda. What a queen. Love her so much. It follows their relationship when they meet, and their conversation is so fun and beautiful, and I just remember feeling so delighted by their conversation. It then follows Elio. We do meet Elio again. Poor Elio as an adult. I think he's in his 30s at this point. He's very famous. He's a very gifted classical piano player, and that's his job. That's his career, but he's very lonely. He's never moved on from Oliver, which we do meet Oliver again. And I love that this book is split into the 3 parts because it follows the 3 men about like 15 years after Call Me By Your Name happens. I love all of the context that is added to their stories. I also adore Elio's father. I adore Michael Stahlbarg. Is that how you say his name? I think that man can do anything. The scene in the movie, you know, the one when Elio comes back after dropping off Oliver from their trip and Elio cries and then his father has that shattering monologue. That's one of my favorite scenes in film. It's so simple, it's so pure, and it's so beautiful. There's a wistfulness and a longing that this book has, and while it does have some dark moments, a la Dark Night of the Soul for each character, this book feels essentially more hopeful than Call Me By Your Name does. This book feels like an end of an era, a tooth-pulling growth. This book feels like setting off on a new, exciting, and unknown path of adventure with a companion who is just right for you. If Call Me By Your Name is a sunset, Find Me is a sunrise. And I think they complete a full circle. I think you need them, honestly. Everything in my life was merely prologue until now, merely delay, merely pastime, merely waste of time, until I came to know you. And that's what I'll leave you with, folks. Thank you so much for watching this. This has been really fun, and I'm really happy that I'm doing this, and I will definitely see you again. All right, bye. Have a great day.